we have here Seth Rogen and Will Reiser, the writer and the star of 50/50, the movie we just saw, and they got a standing ovation from everyone in the room. So thanks for talking to us today for the LIVESTRONG blog.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah.
So I guess my first question would be, there were a lot of great questions after the screening, but really I would love for the readers of the blog to know, why did you want to make this movie? Why was it important?
I think what was important for me about making this movie is just that I felt like I've never seen a movie that portrayed cancer in the way that that portrayed the experience I went through. I found that every movie I've ever seen about cancer is totally unrelatable. Except, I think Terms of Endearment is an incredible movie, so but it's hard.
Yeah, exactly. It's so depressing.
Yeah. It's hard for it, and that's
It's not very uplifting.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. So that's how the conversation started, because we would talk about how people have this impression of cancer as being, what you see in a movie, and for us, that this experience was nothing like that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to just, make a movie that felt honest, felt real.
Yeah, it seemed like we experienced like 10 emotions, and it seems like most cancer movies focus on 2 emotions, which are both negative. To us it was also funny, and it was awkward, and it was very absurd at times. It was surreal, and it was ultimately very uplifting for us. So I think that's really what we wanted to show, was that it can be all those things.
How long after you finished your treatment did you actually start writing the movie, or did you start when you were in the middle of it?
I was definitely thinking about it. I was definitely thinking about writing the movie when I was in the treatment. I mean, we had discussions about it, but I didn't actually start writing anything until about a year after. I still needed time to process it, and it took 5 years of working on the script, I think, to really get it out of my system. And 5 years.
I think it took all of us that amount of time to really have enough context on what happened. I think we were all still emotionally invested in the girls that we were with at the time, or the people that we were friends with at the time, the jobs we had at the time, that it took years to be able to step back and look at it from the perspective we could actually make something entertaining out of it.
Did that experience change your friendship?
Yeah, I think it's only made us closer.
Yeah.
Just the process of making the movie and writing the script and him supervising me forced us to have conversations about what we went through, and he was able to point out, just the fact that I never actually was able to communicate to anybody what I actually wanted or needed or how I was feeling. When you're sick, you just sort of assume that you're the sick person, and everyone is going to know how to properly deal with the situation, and then you build resentments when they don't act the way in which you want them to. And so I think it took conversations with Seth for him to point out maybe I put too much pressure on people, and that maybe I didn't know how to properly communicate. I think that was really hard for me to admit to myself, but I think in the end it only helped me write the movie, and kind of now I can talk about it.
It was awkward though.
That's true. Now it's
so the movie is very irreverent and pretty much no holds barred. So is there anything you didn't put in the movie that you were just like, oh man, we just can't cut?
We were, no, honestly, we were open to it. Definitely, there's 3 or 4 jokes in there that I did not expect people would go along with in the way they did. Honestly, because I think it spoke to us not knowing how universal our experience was, I think we didn't know for sure if everyone made those types of jokes. So to us, it was really risky because, you know, we could have shown this movie to a group of people like this and have them say like, this is complete bullshit. No one makes jokes like that when they're sick. Everyone's really emotionally kind and aware. So it was a relief once we showed the movie to people to learn that not only did they accept these jokes, but they really seemed to be happy that we were portraying the people that act this way, you know?
Right, just to have permission.
I mean, for us, you know, we, with the jokes, and with the drama, it's like, as long as it felt real, you know, we felt like it could stay, you know, as long as it felt true to the characters. Because every one of the characters does something the wrong way, you know, doesn't know quite how to handle it, and everyone does it in their own way. And, you know, his character just says really idiotic things all the time. But that's like his way of coping, you know, so you kind of forgive him, and by the end you forgive him for his idiocy, you know, much as I have.
Exactly, and continue to do.
If I could forgive him, I think we can all...
Anyone can forgive him. That's awesome. So, what do you want people to leave the theater? Having seen this movie, what do you want them to leave with?
I just hope that people can have a broader discussion. You know, we'll just open up a dialogue in which people can talk about their experiences or relate to one another. Because I feel like, you know, when I was sick, there were support groups that were offered to me by the hospital, but I always felt strange because I always felt that suddenly I was like not normal and I had to go into the basement of the hospital. You know, that was my impression because, you know, sort of this small room tucked away where I would sit and, you know, sort of lament about my problems, and that was the last thing that would make me feel normal. And I sort of feel like maybe that discussion doesn't just have to be a support group. It can be, you know, people can see this movie and just have a discussion with one another about it. And it doesn't have to be so confined. That, you know, we can talk about a subject that we're all kind of afraid of. And this maybe will help.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.